But it's good. But it's good that you have Tanaka Productions in Fargo, North Dakota, and Pat Tanaka, who's been in the wrestling business since the '80s. Referee, singles wrestler, tag team wrestler, knows the behind the scenes. Has been at the top of the mountain and working the small venues and events. So if there's anyone to learn from, it's you. And how do you enjoy giving back, so to speak, and training others in today's climate and today's athletes?
You know, I mean, that's the thing about it. You know, I do what I can, and the reason that makes me, I guess, as you say, different. Wouldn't say I'm a better teacher than anybody, but I do have the patience that you need to be a teacher. It's hard to be a teacher, you know, especially in a business where there's egos. You know, you run into a lot of people with big egos, and to train them is very hard because first of all, they don't understand this business. You know, they mostly are like they think that they're going to come in there and become the biggest star ever, right? And they don't see themselves as a beginner wrestler. They already see themselves as part of WWE as soon as they walk in the door. You know, so those kind of people are impossible. You know, and it's hard to train people like that. So all I ask people is, man, when you come in, man, just, you know, relax, take your time, you know, learn, you know, because you don't become a star overnight, first of all. And if you do, you burn out fast. And I've seen it a million times where you're a big star one day and then the next you can't get back on top. And what happens? You blow your brains out. You know? You end up killing yourself. Or OD or whatever, you know? So I you know, that's why I say take your time when you're enjoy, because it won't last forever. It never does. You know, people are still trying to, you know, make it last forever, and that's the thing, you know, I mean, it never does. I don't know why you think if you can change that, but always people think that they can change it. So, the thing is just relax, learn, and enjoy the ride. Hopefully it's a long one, right?
That's exactly right. And the thing is, you mentioned earlier, and I want to get to the movie, right? I will get to the movie right now, but before we do, I do want to ask this, because you did mention Hulk Hogan earlier, and of course, Hulk Hogans don't fall out of trees. I mean, it's rare you get someone like that is in the business. And you mentioned being involved in his early training, correct, in Florida, in Tampa, with Hiro Matsuda. What was that like? Could you tell right away that Hulk was going to be a big star, or still didn't know?
Well, I already thought he was. When I saw him, I go, that is the biggest man I have ever seen in my life. You know, and it was just amazing. I looked at the guy. Here I am. I was probably like 5'7", and I weighed about 118 pounds when I started. You know, and it was funny because I'm looking at all them guys, you know, because it was Beefcake and him and Paul Orndorff, Brian Blair. You're all huge, man. Here I am, soaking wet. You know, because when I started that, I was really like still an amateur wrestler. I was like trying to make weight at 110, you know, and I walk into this and I'm like, oh my God, look at these guys. They're amazingly huge, you know, and it just so happens that Hulk, I already thought he was a huge star, just the way he looked. But, you know, he was training with us. They were training pro wrestling. I was training judo and amateur wrestling. So we were training together, but we had to do the squats together. We had to do the jump squats. We had to do all the training together. But then when they trained professional wrestling, they'd be on one side, I'd be on the other side. Two different places. So it was different. But you know what? That man changed professional wrestling. He really did.
Well, hey, Pat.
He changed it from being professional wrestling in an armory, professional wrestling in stadiums and selling out the biggest venues in the world. You know, that's incredible.
That's a huge game changer.
Oh, it was amazing. That man, he definitely changed professional wrestling.
I could further that too, Pat, by saying someone of your stature and size helped change professional wrestling as well. Maybe not to Hulk Hogan's degree, but still, when you think about it, nowadays you see guys of your size that are winning major titles, main eventing. And I think it was because of someone like you that we're able to prove that, hey, I may be this size, but I can do this.
That was one of the things when I went in there, because, I mean, I'm sure I was how you call it, guinea pig, because I was the first guy of my size to go into WWE, and they'd never seen anybody so small in there. Because I was 5'8", and I weigh about, 160. Everybody else is over 6'2", and they all weighed, over 250, 260, and those were the small guys. Yeah. And the big guys, 7 foot tall, all 6'9", 7 foot, and weighing 300 or 400 pounds each. It was hard working with them. They didn't want to do anything with it. It was hard. It really was. Especially, someone my size. They were like, no. And no one wanted to work with me, I'll tell you that.
It was a different mindset back then. But hey, then success came big time with tag team wrestling with Paul Diamond and even with Sato. I remember Sato from the famous Mr. Saito and Sato from Cherries and Wrestling from Florida. Tag team, yeah, against the Briscoe brothers, and a very good heel tag team back in the day. And then all of a sudden, you're teaming with him in WWE right before going with Paul. Paul was doing something else, singles, but you were doing that. What was the time like with Sato and then also with Paul at Bad Company and then the Orient Express?
Right. Well, what happened was, me and Paul, Jeff Jarrett was my partner at the time, down in Tennessee. And we had worked a program with Sato and his partner, Goto. And we worked probably like a whole year together program. And then me and Paul broke off as a tag team to be Bad Company. So when we did that, Sato, I turned on Paul, and then it was me and Sato against Paul and someone else. And so me and Sato had already teamed together a couple times. And they thought me and him would be a perfect tag team to throw into WWE. So we worked together for a long time, and I love Sato. He was such a good man, I'm sure he probably hated me, or not hated me, but totally wanted to, probably shoot me sometimes because, I was young, wild, crazy, and he was, had a family and, like to, go to sleep on time and, go to the buildings on time, and they could never find me. I was missing in action every day, so it was crazy back then, but I was lucky enough to have him as a partner and as a friend too. I just talked to him recently, and you know, he's having a hard time right now, moving around and stuff. But you know, what a great man, good man.
It's too bad you can't get him over to North Dakota and work in your Tanaka Productions.
Right? Love that. But, you know, I mean, that's the thing, you know, I mean, he's got a family and he's doing well. So I'm so happy.
And that was great times with the Orient Express, and then Paul Diamond ends up being with you, the Orient Express, and prior to that, your Bad Company, and what success there, and being on ESPN in the AWA, and then a young Diamond Dallas Page, who knew he was going to be a wrestler, a star wrestler, is the spokesman, mic man, manager, agent, whatever you want to call him. What was that time like with DDP, who also got his start, by the way, with Dusty down in Florida?
Right, exactly. And I tell you what, I mean, Page, I have never, when I first met him, I was going, wow. I tell you what, man, we need this guy. Because me and Paul were the worst. We couldn't do a promo to save our life. You know, I couldn't even say a line without screwing it up. So having a manager was very important to us. So anyway, Dallas became our manager, and wow, what charisma! I mean, what style! That guy was one of the most charismatic people I've ever met in my life. He was amazing, and what a mic man! Now that guy can go on the mic, so no doubt about it.
And he had some beautiful women with him as well, those Diamond Dolls.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was awesome.
Oh.
And he stopped bringing him around because he kept dating him.
All right, now we're going to talk. Let's talk movies. Let's do that. We'll wrap this up here. It's really cool because is this the first time you've been in a movie? And it's called Monster 4-0. Sci-fi action. It combines cosplay, which is huge, superheroes, villains. It's just amazing how this all comes together. And how did you get involved in this project? And again, is that your first time in a movie project?
Well, my first time wasn't a movie, but it was a big film, and it was it was a pilot to be a movie, and I mean not to be a movie, to be a weekly series, I believe, and it was called Tag Team. Wow, the name of the show. Roddy Piper, Jesse Ventura. And there are two wrestlers that became cops when they retired. And that was the stint of the movie. And they had a match against us. I guess we had injured them early on in their career, and they wanted revenge, getting out of the business, and it was their last match against us. So we got to work with two of the best wrestlers in the world right there, Piper and Ventura. And I couldn't believe it, man. We had a great time, too. It was awesome doing that. But then I met one of the nicest people I've ever met was Mike Sato. And he is the writer for the show, along with Nathan Latier. And they're both so cool. Working with them really, really, I guess, changed my attitude towards the show business and things like that, because it's such a seedy business sometimes, you know. But these guys are honest, they're good people, and they worked their butt off to make this thing work. So I've got to give hands up, man. They're amazing. And the cast that they put me with were incredible, man. They're all so cool, you know. And they had no egos on this one. And that was the best thing, because they were so cool, you know, to work with. We just laughed, had a good time. pretty amazing.
And you have a big role in this movie. You're a janitor, but you're also involved with the actual plot as far as the superheroes these cosplayers turning into superheroes, and then the alien villains. And I don't want to give too much away with it, but just a little bit with seeing. Well, I got to see the movie, but also the trailer and things like that. Did it take a while to shoot this one? And would you do something like this again? How did they find you even too? Is this just something through an agent of yours, or just how did that start?
They found me. I was in Colorado. I had to wrestle there, and I had met Mike at one of the matches. He came to watch the matches, and I met him there. And he had said, "Hey, you ever done any movie work?" And I was going, "Yeah." I don't believe him, And he goes, I wrote a movie, and I go, "Oh, okay." So he said, "No, for real." And he gave me his number, and he took mine, and he called me. And he goes, "Hey, if you want to talk, come on over here." And it was a beautiful place in Colorado. Their country club there. And it was gorgeous, man. You sit out there, it's amazing. And, we sat out there and talked and had lunch and everything. And he definitely was such a great guy, man. I mean, what a time. He was a good guy, honest, and I can't tell you how great he is. And the same with Nathan. They were awesome people, man. Really awesome people. And as soon as I went to the first day, with them and just met everybody, I asked them, can I do it with you guys? And they said, "Well, we're going to have to hear you read. You're going to have to, a reading for us and everything." I said, "Well, I guess I can't do the movie then." You're probably not going to want Now, I'm sure they had to rewrite my script because I'm sure they were pretty scared too after they heard me talk. So I think they probably had to cut down a lot of things. But I was like the Mr. Miyagi of cosplay.
That's it, exactly. That's a good analogy. That's a really good analogy for it.
Yeah, come up with a one-liner,
Yes, it's true. It's just the lines that people can remember and come up with those cliches and all. But you have a presence about you too. Your role in that movie and your presence really synced. It worked well between you and with the writers and director and putting that all together. But I'm curious, Pat, because it is a young cast. Did the younger talent, did they know you were a wrestler? Did they know any of that, or that wasn't even discussed per se?
Oh, no, yeah. In fact, they had told them that I was doing it with them, and I'm sure they didn't know who I was anyway, even if they watched wrestling, because they were way too young to see me. They were probably born when I was in WWE,
No, it's true. They were probably Attitude Era time for them, maybe, if they watched.
Right. So, but they treated me with utmost respect and great people, man. Really. I'm not just saying that because, I didn't move. Just because, man, honestly, they were all so kind to me and helped me out so much, when I was there. It was really nice. Because that's not my forte, to do lines, to sit there and talk and the movie and things like that. Mine's more or less bumping and doing all those things, Never had to talk.
So Tanaka did not have to put a sleeper hold on anybody?
In fact, I got beat up most of the time by the aliens.
I know, right? You did. You did get beat up by the aliens. You didn't get to do anything to the aliens. Come on.
I guess, yeah, I won't give away the last part of the movie then.
No, don't give anything away. Don't give anything away.
But it was the most enjoyable time for real, man, to be, part of this thing.
Well,
I thought, hey, we're going to try this. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, But they went to all the film festivals and everything, and they really got a lot of awards, and it was amazing, because it was a really low budget film, but you know what? The way it looks, it doesn't look like it was. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
And that's good because sometimes, obviously, when you don't have a big budget, you could really tell that. But this one was really cool. And again, it's a group of sci-fi cosplayers. They get their shot to be real superheroes in director Nathan Latier's Monster Force Zero, which will be a Wild Eye release. And that'll be released in October. So you could check it out. You can Google search it and go online and check out where you could find more information about it and how to watch and see this and see the great Pat Tanaka in this. But he won't be doing any wrestling per se, everybody. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. You're going to see him as an actor.
I do take some bumps.
He takes some bumps, though. He does take some bumps. All right, Pat. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go. I thank you so much for spending the time for doing this. Before I let you out here, I just wanted to know, too, what was your high school? You went to high school in Tampa, and did you wrestle for the high school team?
I did. I went to Tampa Catholic High School, and I wrestled for them. And I tell you what, it was some of the best times of my life there, too, Being in high school again, I miss those days,
Wait a minute.
I still talk to so many of the students that I went to school with, and that's pretty amazing.
Wait. Was it Tampa Chamberlain or no?
Yeah, there was Chamberlain. That's where, some of the great wrestlers out of there came, the amateur wrestlers. So,
yeah, but
I went to Tampa Catholic High School, though.
You went to Tampa Catholic High School. Okay, not Chamberlain. I couldn't hear you. That's why I was asking. So you went to Tampa Catholic.
Right.
Well, Pat,
Yeah.
Are you the most famous person to come out of Tampa Catholic High School?
I don't think so. I think we have a couple big timers out of there. It's New York Yankees, a couple actors. I'm sure there's a lot bigger stars than I ever could even imagine.
Okay, all right, Pat. Tino Martinez, a really good Yankee. Okay, you got maybe he's got you on that one. But now I'm looking down the list. No. Oh, Channing Tatum, the actor. Channing Tatum, that's a big one. That's a good one. I think you can. I'll tell you what. I think. I'll tell you what. I think Pat Tanaka could make the Mount Rushmore of famous, notable alum from Tampa Catholic High School.
I wish. I don't ever think so, but you know what? For me, I'm just happy that I could even be there. Being in WWE and all those places, I just really got lucky and had a blessed career. I really did.
Well, that's awesome. And listen, thanks for spending the time. I know this took a little long, but I appreciate so much. I'll tell you what, Pat, if I could probably talk to you for about an hour more. But don't worry, I won't do that. Hopefully we'll get to talk again in the future and get to catch up on some other things that I'd like to talk about as well. Such a treat, such a joy being able to spend this time and talk to you. I appreciate it.
Hey, Jim, it's been my pleasure. Absolutely. And anytime you want to talk, you call me. Let's do it.
All right, and Pat, is there any social media or a website or anything you want people to check out for you or for the Tanaka Productions?
Tanaka Productions. Right there with my wrestling.
So they could just search Tanaka Productions, correct?
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, Pat, thank you so much.
You take care, Jim. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything.